Good evening. Thanks for having me. My name is Donn Morrill, and I lead solutions architecture. Can you hear me okay? I'm going to use that in a second, yeah. I lead solutions architecture for the Amazon Alexa team, and I'm based out in New York. I want to start by thanking FirstMark and thanking WeWorks for having us here today. I spoke at a FirstMark Capital Conference a couple of years ago, and it's great to see so many interested people. So thank you to everybody for coming out today. So I give a lot of talks. Excuse me? Oh, the mic's on? All right, let me just use that one. Yeah, we'll make it easier. Is that better? Great. Thank you, FirstMark. Thank you, WeWorks. Happy to be here, blah, blah, blah. All right. So I give a lot of talks every year, and I generally make it a rule of I don't like to put up slides and just read from the slides, but I found this quote a couple weeks ago, and I thought it was pretty profound and really captured what I want to talk about today in the slides. So forgive me, but I'm gonna read this slide to you and kind of set the tone for the talk. The age of touch could soon come to an end. From smartphones and smartwatches to home devices to in-car infotainment systems, touch is no longer the primary user interface. Let's all think about that for a minute. Touch is no longer the primary user interface. What if I stood here 10 years ago and told you that keyboard and mouse was no longer the primary user interface? A lot of you would probably think that I was nuts. But fast forward to today, and keyboard and mouse necessarily isn't the primary user interface. It's a touch screen, right? It's your phone, there's no keyboard, there's no mouse. And fast forward 5 years from today, Amazon envisions a world where touch is no longer the primary interface, but voice is, right? And so that gives you a little bit of the insight into why, a lot of people ask, why did Amazon get into voice? Why did Amazon build Echo? We view it as a foundational change in the way that people interact with compute. And Amazon likes to be out ahead of things instead of behind things, and so we decided to build the Echo. So I ask this question a lot, and there's kind of a tipping point throughout the life of Alexa where I switch the question from how many people have seen an Echo to how many people have not seen an Echo, and we're actually at the point now where I can start asking how many people have not seen an Echo, which is a really good sign that people are enjoying Alexa or enjoying an Echo. So how many people have not interacted with an Echo device before? Great, about half of the audience. So maybe I need to think about switching that question back and forth. But we're gonna have a quick demo of Echo. Just a real quick history. So Amazon announced the Echo device back in November of 2014, and it's been really well received in the community. It is the highest rated Amazon produced device in history. So it's got more star ratings than Kindle, it's got more star ratings than Fire TV. Believe it or not, it's even got more star ratings than Fire Phone. I know it's hard to believe. So we're really happy with the success of Echo and where we've gone so far. And in fact, we just recently announced 2 other devices into the Echo family. The Echo Dot, which is kind of if you took Echo and kind of decapitated it, you'd have the Echo Dot. And then we also have what we call the Tap, which is a portable version of Echo. The Echo device itself will listen to you from across the room and react to your commands, but it needs to be plugged into a wall because there's a certain power consumption that comes with always listening to what you're saying. But the Tap device is portable, and you can actually push the button on the device and talk to Alexa no matter where you are. And then we're starting to also incorporate Alexa into other products in the Amazon family. So the Fire TV now has access to Alexa. So if you have a 2nd generation Fire TV, they ship with Alexa enabled, and if you have a 1st generation Fire TV, we actually updated the software on them just a couple months ago. So now when you push that microphone button on the remote, you have full access to Alexa. And a lot of you are probably still asking, what is Alexa? And so we're going to get to that. So you can think of kind of Alexa as a personal assistant on steroids, right? It's a far-field voice recognition system that listens to you and reacts to your commands. Alexa itself is a cloud-based product, so it's a cloud-based intelligence and personal assistant technology, and you can think of the Echo and the Echo family devices as just kind of endpoints for the Alexa Cloud. And so the beauty of a cloud-based architecture is that we can continually iterate and continually improve the things that Alexa knows how to do. And that includes things like speech recognition. So Alexa is constantly getting better at speech recognition, constantly getting better at understanding what you're doing. And we're constantly adding more capabilities into Alexa. So things like music, news, sports, weather. She knows the answers to all those questions. Timers and alarms. A lot of common household chores. Like if you're in the kitchen and you're cooking and you want to set a 15-minute timer, you can simply say, Alexa, set a timer for 15 minutes. My kids love to use it at night when they're doing their homework. They have to do at least a half-hour homework, so they simply say, Alexa, set a timer for 15 minutes. Smart home control is a really interesting use case, and I'm going to talk about more about that in a minute. Local business information, so we're now connected with local business databases, so if you want to know where the nearest Starbucks is, you simply say, Alexa, where's the nearest Starbucks, or where's the nearest pizza joint, or something like that. And then we have this thing called skills, and I'm going to talk more about that in a little bit, but skills are the way you teach Alexa to do new things. You can consider it kind of like an app store in a traditional mobile model. And today we have over 500 skills, so over 500 people have published new things, taught Alexa how to do new things, which is pretty interesting. So I want to do a quick demo for you about Alexa. I have a canned demo that I normally walk through when I'm giving an Alexa talk, and I do things like ask the weather, who is Jeffrey Bezos. But as I was walking to work this morning, and I was walking here this afternoon, I realized it's really fucking cold out, right? And so what I wanted to do is kind of take us away to a better place than being in New York at the time. So I want to kind of set the mood for everybody. Alexa, play some reggae music.
A prime playlist for reggae, Bob Marley's top songs.
So now she's playing some music. Imagine yourself in the tropics and not in the 20-degree weather in New York City. Alexa, what's the weather in Key West?
Right now in Key West, Florida, it's 78 degrees with clear skies and sun.
Wow.
Tonight's forecast has mostly clear skies and a low of 70 degrees.
Don't we all wish we were there? Alexa, tell me a good margarita bar in Key West. Alexa, tell me a good pina colada bar in Key West. Sorry, it's not getting that. Alexa, stop. It worked before, I swear to God. But one of the interesting things you'll notice is that, thanks. When I asked her the first question, what's the weather in Key West, she was able to actually attenuate the music and understand what I was saying. And that was one of the biggest challenges that we had in developing Alexa and developing the Echo product, is what we call the noise cancellation, or the echo cancellation from the background music that's going on. And so the Echo device is actually intelligent enough to know what it is playing, and it will actually cancel out the music signal so that it can listen for the Alexa wake word and then understand what I'm saying to it. And so not only do we have the Echo family of devices, what we did is we actually released an entire Alexa ecosystem. So it's an open platform, and we released 2 sets of APIs and SDKs. On my left side here, we have what we call the Alexa Skills Kit. And the Alexa Skills Kit is an API that allows you as a developer to add more capabilities to Alexa. So when we released Alexa, for example, she didn't know how to order a Domino's pizza. She didn't know how to order an Uber. But what we did is we partnered with those companies, and they developed a skill so that today you can actually order an Uber or you can order a Domino's pizza through your Alexa-enabled device. And as I said, we've got over 500 skills that are published on Alexa today, and we expect to see a lot more in the future. And then on the other side, we have what we call the Alexa service. The Alexa Voice Service is a set of APIs that allow you to incorporate the Alexa persona into your devices and into your software. So if you make a car or a refrigerator or a speaker or anything else that might go in a house, you can actually use our open APIs. As long as your device has a microphone and a speaker and an internet connection, you can essentially create your own Echo. And in fact, we recently released a Raspberry Pi version of Alexa using the ABS APIs, and we also, I'm proud to announce that our first commercial partner is sitting in the front row today. So Invoxia is a French company that is releasing a product in the not too distant future that will actually incorporate Alexa into it. So if you're interested in learning more about how partners can work with Alexa and Amazon to incorporate Alexa into products, please feel free to reach out to Julie after tonight's talk. And so I was told I had to get a little geeky and kind of geek out during this conversation because there's a lot of tech people in the audience. So I've got 2 slides that'll kind of geek out a little bit, and we'll talk a little bit more about strategy. So at its Alexa is it's a platform. It's a speech recognition and a personal assistant platform. And under that, everything is of course built on top of AWS. There are various modules, right? And key to it is what we call the ASR and NLU. ASR stands for Automated Speech Recognition, and NLU stands for Natural Language Understanding. TTS is text-to-speech. So that top row kind of comprises the speech processing aspects of Alexa. ASR is pretty straightforward today. Even your cell phone today can take your words and turn them into discrete English words. The hard part is what we call the Natural Language Understanding, or the NLU, which is to actually take what you said and try and understand and comprehend what you said. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about this later on in the conversation. And then the other portion of the Alexa Cloud is what we call the skills, right? And there's 2 types of skills. There are the built-in skills that Amazon develops. So music is a built-in skill. Weather is a built-in skill. But there are hundreds and hundreds of third-party skills. So we're excited that there's been so much adoption of Alexa skills in the developer ecosystem. And then learning. As I said earlier, Alexa is constantly learning. We're constantly improving the things that she can do, and we're improving the speech recognition capabilities of Alexa. And so we've got a big team that works on constantly improving Alexa. And then as you see, any device that has a microphone and a speaker can access Alexa. So an Echo device, a Fire TV, or a Raspberry Pi, or hopefully your device someday as well. Real quick, a day in the life of what we call a day in the life of an intent. So when you say something to Alexa, we call that an intent. Alexa, play Pink Floyd The Wall is a very interesting intent because it actually opens up a lot of... Oh, shoot. Alexa, stop. Damn, that's a rookie mistake. You can always tell we're on a conference call and there's somebody new to the Alexa team because whenever they say Alexa, their echo goes off in the background. So apologies for the rookie mistake. So what happens behind the scenes is that when I ask something of an Echo or when I ask something of an AVS device, it goes through what we call an orchestrator, and that's just as it sounds. It's basically a layer of software that kind of manages the inputs and the outputs and knows where to route everything, both the inputs and the outputs. And then it gets sent to what we call the SLU. SLU stands for Spoken Language Understanding, which is a combination of that whole top row that I showed you on the previous slide. And so if you're talking about something like Alexa, play Pink Floyd The Wall, that gets really easy when I'm talking to an Echo device because an Echo device doesn't have a screen. And Alexa is probably smart enough to know that Echo doesn't have a screen and simply says, aha, this guy probably wants to play the album Pink Floyd, The Wall. And so what it's going to do, it's going to pass that knowledge back to the skills subsystem, and the skills subsystem is going to go, okay, this person has Pandora, this person has iHeartRadio, and all these music services enabled. Let me make an intelligent decision about which of those services should play Pink Floyd The Wall. And it's going to send what we call a directive back to the device, either back to an Echo or back to a Raspberry Pi or whatever. And it's going to give a command to play, and it's going to give you URL for the album, The Wall, and you're simply going to play The Wall. Some other interesting directives, like if I was to ask the weather, instead of actually getting a streaming URL back, what I would actually get back is an MP3 that represents the textual output of the weather. And so the device would get a command that says speak, and the device would simply play that MP3 back to the end user. And this works, again, this works as well with a Raspberry Pi or an Invoxia device as it does with an Echo device. So really interesting and open approach to speech. All right, we're done geeking out. Let me talk a little bit about what we're seeing in the industry and a couple of observations. The first, and I think a lot of this is not going to be new to some people, especially the founders in the audience. We find that making things open and making things free is the key to success. So everything I'm talking to you about tonight is freely available to you. So the Alexa voice service is free. You don't have to pay for the APIs. You don't pay per invocation. You don't pay per API call. The Alexa Skills Kit is free. The only thing you pay for is if you implement it on top of AWS Lambda, you pay for the Lambda charges, which you're familiar with that is you can run a skill for like pennies a month. And so we find that that's the best way. We want to eliminate as much friction to adoption of Alexa as possible, and so making it open and free is a great way to do that. This was interesting, so I want to skip one bullet real quick. Like, don't pretend you know how your customers will use it. So we launched the minimally viable product, and we threw it out there, and we really didn't know how people were going to use it. So we put out music, we put out weather, we put a couple of basic things, and then we just kind of listened, right? We listened to our partners, we listened to our customers, we listened on YouTube, and we listened to all our channels to find out all the interesting ways that people are using it. One of the things that we found out, and it kind of relates to smart home as well, discovery and search really suck today from a keyboard and mouse and even from a touchscreen perspective, right? Like, how many people really hate trying to find your favorite TV show by using the remote control and pointing it at your television, right? Voice solves that problem, and it solves a lot of other problems in the discovery and search domain, right? Including music, including TV shows, including TV stations, including apps, right? People probably hate to use the App Store now. You have this kind of conundrum of you have this problem with too many choices on the App Store. Voice eliminates that. You can just naturally interact with whatever device you happen to have, and it's a much more natural experience. Smart home and voice are better together. Smart home has been around for a long time in one form or another. Voice has been around for a long time in one form or another. What we were pleasantly surprised with is that once smart home and connected devices and IoT started to come of age and voice came of age, they're kind of like peanut butter and chocolate. They actually make a really, really good pairing. So now I can walk into my home, and if I have smart devices, but I don't have voice, I still got to reach in my pocket, or I still got to touch a screen on the wall, and that sucks, right? And so now that I have Alexa in my household, I can simply walk in and say, Alexa, turn the lights on. Alexa, play some music, and my house magically just responds to my command. So that was really, really interesting. And then the last thing I want to say is simple is hard. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more on the last slide. So if we at Alexa do our job properly, we're envisioning a house that has multiple Alexa-enabled endpoints in it. Each of those devices is going to have multiple capabilities and multiple what we call affordances, right? Some are going to have big screens, some are going to have no screens. Some are going to have really good speakers, some are going to have really crappy speakers. Some are going to have cameras, some are not going to have cameras. And so marshalling and making intelligent decisions about which of those devices somebody is talking to and which of those devices somebody is targeting, right? When I say, Alexa, turn on the lights, that doesn't necessarily mean that my light bulb has a speaker and a microphone in it. But what that means is that I have to make intelligent choices about which lights to turn on, how to turn them on, and the same applies for any device that Alexa can ultimately control. So what you're going to see is a lot more coming out of Alexa in terms of how do I arbitrate what's going on within the house? How do I turn Alexa into kind of the glue that just makes everything magically work? So I don't have to worry about whether I'm talking to an Echo device or my Fire TV or my tablet or my television. It's all just going to work someday. Thank you. Couple minutes for questions? A couple quick questions, and then myself and one of my colleagues, Amit, will be around afterwards to chat. Yeah?
I've been using Echo for a few months, and I absolutely love it. I'd love to know if there's any plans to release. I see, watch and fitness band out there, but when can we see this be a more personal device, something that you can take on the go?
Sure. So the question is about Alexa becoming a more personal device, like something in the wearable space or something I can carry on the go. You saw us release the Tap already, which is kind of our first foray into the portable space. I think, in the fullness of time, what we expect to see, again, if we do our jobs right using the Alexa voice service, there will be more third-party devices that are Alexa-enabled than there will be Amazon devices Alexa-enabled. So I can't really talk about any devices that Amazon may or may not be working on, but I can tell you that we're talking to partners in every area of electronics, whether it's home appliances or home entertainment or wearables. We're talking to them. There's a lot of interest in Alexa, so I would expect that you would see some Alexa-enabled devices in each of those categories, in the not-too-distant future. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
My question is, how much does Alexa learn the ways that my daughter has to do something at school? How often this is when she uses the
Yep.
Wait.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. The question was, how does Alexa learn as different people speak to her? So if you have a young kid in your house, it's a good example. Kids 5 and under tend to have problems with Alexa. So Alexa was originally trained with a pretty broad set of data. We tested with various different ages. We tested across native and non-native speakers. We tested across different accents in different regions of the United States. She will learn a little bit over time, and so there is some personalization that comes with her learning. The best way for her to learn is there's actually an Alexa companion app on your phone, and you can actually go in and you can either voice train so that you'll get some personal training within your household, or you can simply thumbs up or thumbs down an utterance to say, yes, Alexa understood me, or Alexa didn't understand me. So that's the way we kind of get better. But other than that, I would say from about 5 up to like 85, we've got pretty good coverage today. Yeah.
You may have seen that Revolve is turning their system off. Are you familiar with Revolve?
Who is it?
So Google bought a particular startup integrated with Nest, home automation startup, and they're turning off the hardware and the servers and the cloud service, everything, sometime. And this brought up the problem of if somebody buys Alexa from Amazon, like Google, and decides to turn it off for a strategic reason, then all the devices around will stop working overnight. What's going on right now with Google? And I mean, to me, that's a small risk, but an existing risk. Is there a way to run this without depending on Amazon whatsoever?
No, this is all cloud-based. This is all running on Amazon. I can tell you that Amazon is making a very big bet on Alexa. We announced last year a $100 million seed investment fund for companies that are interested in doing things with Alexa. I can't talk specifically about the commitment that Amazon is making, but we're making a pretty big investment in this. Again, we see voice as the future interaction model for compute, and I can't think of a time when Amazon has ever spun off a property that we own, and AWS is a great example of something that people saw as an experiment 8 or 9 or 10 years ago, and is really taken off. So I can tell you that Jeff has a really great saying. He likes to say that we're willing to be misunderstood for long periods of time, and I think this is a bet that we're willing to be misunderstood for a long period of time if that's what that takes. Yeah.
Are people getting nicer or meaner to Alexa?
Excuse me?
Are people getting nicer or meaner to Alexa? Like,
Yeah.
familiar or just ruder?
Yeah, are people, what's people's attitudes towards Alexa? Are they getting nicer or meaner? I can tell you, we have a statistic that I don't remember off the top of my head, but there was a metric that was reported in our operational meetings about how many marriage proposals people had made to Alexa when they first got them. And so we still see a good amount of marriage proposals. Alexa, I love you. Alexa, I want to marry you. I don't know if that number is trending up or down, unfortunately. Yeah, in the back there, right? Yeah.
Are there any plans to support other languages?
Are there any plans to support other languages? The answer is yes, but unfortunately I'm not privileged to talk about our timelines at this point. But yes, you will see other languages. And then right in front? Yeah.
I'm curious, because of marriage proposals, is there any plans for allowing different voices, i.e. male instead of female?
The question is, are there any plans to allow different voices or different personas on Alexa? Today, the answer is no. So, the intention with Alexa is that we want to build a persona, we want to build a brand, we want people to be comfortable with Alexa. And so everything that goes into the Alexa experience today is part of that brand. We also get the similar question is, can I change the wake word, right? And there's a couple other wake words that you can use today, mainly if you have a daughter in your house whose name is Alexa, you can change it to Echo or to Amazon. But we've invested heavily in the Alexa persona in its entirety. So everything that Alexa can do, the Alexa wake word and the Alexa voice. So today there's no plans to change the voice. Yeah. Okay, come on. Yeah.
Currently with if you're writing a skill, you can go and you can tell what the words are. Are there any plans to have it so you can tell things like intonation, who the speaker is, other speed of text, so on and so forth?
Yeah, the question is about when you develop a skill, you have the ability to interpret what somebody is saying to the device in the skill, but can we convey things like intonation or other aspects of the interaction? And the answer today is not today. pretty much everything that everybody could think about wanting to do with Alexa. Are things that we're thinking about internally. For us, it's a matter of prioritization and use case. And also, one of the things that's super important to us is protecting the end user experience, right? So the more capabilities that we open up to skills developers, like intonation or like speaker, identification, we want to be very deliberate about that so that we don't upset the user experience. So things that we're all thinking about, but when it might actually happen, I can't speak to that. One more. Let's go over here.
Is the microphone always on?
So the question is the microphone always on? The answer for the Echo device is the microphone is always on, and it's always listening locally. It's specifically listening for the Alexa wake word. Nothing is getting shipped up to the cloud until you say the Alexa wake word, and the blue ring comes on. So the blue ring is the indication that your utterance is being shipped to the cloud. Other than that, everything stays local, and there's a 20-second kind of buffer that's running on the device, and it basically throws it away. It's constantly scanning for the Alexa wake word. If the red ring is on, then it's not listening at all. And I guess I need to stop right there, but thank you for your time tonight. Great questions, and I'll be around afterwards.